Hi, friends. It's wonderful to be with you again. I hope you've had a great week. Some of you may have finished your school year already or are going to in the next few weeks. I want to ask you, who is your favorite teacher that you've ever had? What did your favorite teacher do to stick out from the others? My favorite elementary school teacher's name was Mr. Davis. He was my fourth grade teacher. He was my favorite teacher because he made learning so much fun. He was so silly, but still made sure that we learned what we needed to get to fifth grade. What do you think Jesus' job was? I think Jesus had a lot of jobs. He was a good friend, he healed people, he fed people, he taught people. Even though Jesus lived 2,000 years ago, he was such a great teacher about God's love and forgiveness that we're still talking about him. How cool is that? Jesus' first students were the disciples. Those were his closest friends. There were 12 of them at first. They went everywhere together. Then Jesus told those 12 to go out and teach others. And the disciples told the people they taught to go out and teach even more people. And 2,000 years later, here we are, telling our friends about Jesus and God's love right now. Wow. Now, traveling was a little bit different back then. There weren't cars, airplanes, trains, scooters, or bicycles. People walked a lot. Some had camels or donkeys to take them from place to place. But camels and donkeys don't go very fast, and they can be very stubborn. Sometimes the disciples even took boats. You couldn't call up your friend on the telephone and share all that you'd learned, or send them a text or an email. In order to spread what Jesus taught them, they wrote letters. Have you ever written a letter to someone? I love writing people letters. I like to send birthday cards or thank you cards or just letters to let people know I love them. I also love getting letters in the mail. It's so exciting to open up the mailbox and find your name on the envelope. Today, we're going to read about one of the very important disciples named Paul. Paul traveled a lot and wrote thousands of letters. Many of those letters are in the Bible. Those letters are still teaching us. Let's get into the story and listen to what Paul talked about in some of his letters. Paul's job as an apostle, which is also like a disciple, was to tell the story of Jesus to everyone he met. He traveled all over his part of the world and started many churches with people who believed in Jesus. When Paul could not travel to visit his friends in Rome, he wrote them a letter to share God's love. Dear Christians in Rome, there are 3 things I tell people who have never heard of Jesus or God. 1, Jesus was human, like us, and God, both at the same time. Jesus came so people in the world would know how much God loves us. And 3, believing in Jesus and knowing God's love changes your life. Everyone should know this good news. Are you telling people this good news too? The peace of God be with you. Paul. This week, I invite you to share what you've learned about Jesus with your family and friends. You can write a letter, pick up the telephone, anything. It's so good to be with you. Blessings on your week. See you later.